Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, the blindness to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and that do teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, and much love unto the Akim that's out there pushing this truth in sincerity and not for vainglory. So I just want to share this here today. This is going into Esau's propaganda machine that he has out here. Through the other nations that he's ruling in, primarily Israel and the United States, and how they falsely depict the intellectuals of these other nations as evil and very menacing. And that power of pushing propaganda through his media is written in the scriptures. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start off with that. Job 9:24, actually. So Job 9:24. It says here, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And that's the key point here. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the Lord, he has given these devils the ability to push deception in these times. Pursuing to Revelation, the 20th chapter, the 3rd verse and the 8th verse. How the angel came down with a key, and he put a chain around them and put them into the bottomless pit so they could deceive the world no more. Going back when the pagan Roman Empire was suppressed, and then that brought in the Byzantine Empire where we were ruling, and Esau wasn't ruling. He was actually taken down through that time period, the Byzantine Empire, and through the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages. And then he resurfaced in the Renaissance period, right? So that's that history that it's going into. And when he came into the Renaissance period, basically 1400s, 1492, that's when he was able to be let loose so he can deceive the whole world, right? Now it says here, he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. And that's what he does. He gives you half-truths in his propaganda. First, he'll tell you the truth, and then he'll tell you a lie. Like, for example, when you read the Bible, this devil, he'll tell you that the Bible is real and that the saints of the book are real, the Israelites are real. But then he goes on and he depicts the people of the book. He depicts Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, God himself and his son, as so-called white men. So he's in the beginning, he doesn't lie to you. He tells you that the Bible's real, but then he tells you that the God and the saints of the book of the Holy Bible, they're white people, right? So this devil, he's into giving you half truths and propaganda, and it's working on the minds of these simple people out here who don't know how to think, right? So it says, if not, where and who is he? And we know who he is because our prophecy has revealed him through the men of the Lord. Primarily the apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down. And really also the elders that were before them, primarily Abba Bivens, Elder Yaikwad, King Masha, and Elder Arya. And right, so they were being revealed, but now it's blatantly in your face. Now we see everything because this devil is acting according to how the scriptures depict him. And that's you so-called white people today. Headed by the elite banking families that are controlling the earth behind the scenes. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to read this. It says, how Israel deployed an intelligence deception to justify killing scientist Moshe Fakhrizadeh. It says Israel's Mossad, which is their intelligence agency that they have over there, their secret intelligence, right? It says it has spent years on propaganda campaign aimed at convincing the world Iran possessed a nuclear weapons program and legitimizing its assassinations of Iranian academics and killing all their intellectuals and their intelligent people, right? And obviously propaganda is used for a cause to bring forth an agenda to persuade the people into buying into something that is very sinister. So let me get the word propaganda here. Now it says, this is the definition: propaganda is the dissemination of information, facts, arguments, rumors, half-truths, or lies to influence public opinion. Now, a good example of that was when George W. Bush was on the scene, when they blew up their own tower to get them to go to war with Afghanistan, and then he convinced the general public that Saddam Hussein was a leader that was holding weapons of mass destruction, and that brainwashed a lot of people into buying into the United States going into war. But that was about getting the resources and controlling that area of the land for the opium, for the minerals, resources, basically stealing and being covetous, right? So that's what this devil does. He puts propaganda out there, and he puts you Ishmaelites, you Muslims, as that face of terrorism, right? And then he gives you half-truths, he gives you rumors, he gives you lies to influence these docile people over here. Deliberateness and a relatively heavy emphasis on manipulation distinguish propaganda from casual conversation or the free and easy exchange of ideas, right? So really, propaganda is a tool used to get you to buy into an ideology that the government or the elites behind the scenes that they want to give you to control you, to bring forth their agenda. And that's why I read Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Okay. So let me go back to the article. It says, the Israeli assassination of Iranian defense official Mohsen Fakhrizadeh is being treated as a triumph of Israeli intelligence, with ubiquitous references in the New York Times and other major media outlets to the killing of Iran's top nuclear scientists. And they put that in quotations, right? In fact, Israel's Mossad intelligence agency eliminated Fakhrizadeh, a defense official, despite the knowledge that its public depiction of him as the key architect of an Iranian nuclear weapons program was a deception. For years, U.S. media outlets have portrayed Fakhrizadeh, can't pronounce his name, man, as Iran's equivalent to J. Robert Oppenheimer. And if you're not familiar with J. Robert Oppenheimer, he is the father of the atom bomb. He actually created the blueprint for the atom bomb. Basically, he created it. All right, so he's a physicist. He's a high-level physicist, and he's a high-level scientist that actually developed the bomb. So this guy, he was the father of the atom bomb, pretty much. You can go check him out yourself. And by the way, he goes back to he's a German Jew. When you check his profile, when you go back and look at his lineage, look at his father, they came out of Germany, but they were Jewish. Which you Jewish people, you go back to the Khazars, which is one of the branch families of the Edomites. And by the way, you're the top family of the Edomites. Now it says, marketing him to the public as the mastermind behind an Iranian version of the Manhattan Project. Now, if you're not familiar with the Manhattan Project, that was developed back in 1939, and there were 3 countries that were involved in backing that actual project. If you check it out, the United States was involved, the UK was involved, and Canada was involved in backing that project. And that project was about getting the top physicists, I believe, in the United States together, and they were the first ones to create nuclear weapons. They were the first ones. So that's what they're comparing these intellectuals like Fakhrizadeh. That's why they're comparing him, because they're pushing that information out there, or that deception out there, that's what they're doing. They're creating another version of like the Iranian Manhattan Project, right? So this is all rumors. This is all lies. This is all half-truths. And when you ask any simple person out here about Iran, they automatically think about weapons of mass destruction, nuclear capabilities, terrorism, when that's not the case, Anyway, it says this image was developed primarily through a carefully constructed Israeli disinformation operation based on documents that displayed signs of fabrication. Now, let me get a scripture here. His words were smoother than oil. This is Psalms chapter 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that goes into him fabricating these documents, creating disinformation. He'll say smooth things through his media. He'll use a certain language. He'll use loaded language to play on the emotions of the civilians to get them to buy into something that is false, right? Creating a lot of dissension amongst different nations' militaries, killing off their generals, fabricating evidence, basically. That's what this devil does. And that's why I brought out this scripture. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. And, he'll make it seem like he's always the victim, right? He'll always make it seem like he's the victim and that he has the right to kill everybody and to do whatever he wants. But it says, but war was in his heart. But even though he may sound soft, he may sound meek, he may sound like a humanitarian, but really he's thinking of ways to really destroy you and to bring forth war and terror. You see, you Edomites, man, you're the real terrorists. You are the real terrorists. You are the waster that was created to destroy. Matter of fact, let me get that. Because since we're going into, since I read about Robert Oppenheimer, I'm going to bring out a scripture that backs up the waster is set up to destroy. As a matter of fact, that's Isaiah 54 and 16. It says, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. And that's it. That's just what the Lord created. You see, Robert Oppenheimer and these other physicists and these nuclear scientists, they are what you call the modern day smiths that bloweth the coals in the fire. The Lord has given them the mind and the intelligence to split the atom bomb, to create nuclear weapons, to create weaponry, right, which is a device for his work or instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. And that's what he's gathered them for. He's gathered them all together, all the great minds of the world, really to destroy themselves. And that's prophecy. That's nuclear destruction written in the book of Revelation. There's many nuclear scriptures. There's some in Joel, Malachi chapter 4. The day of the Lord will burn as an oven. All right. So I believe in 1 Peter, right, in the book of Peter's, talking about the elements shall melt away with fervent heat. The day of the Lord cometh as a thief in the night. And this technology that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave to these devils to create in a lab, it's going to be used for their own destruction, their own demise. All right. And it's looking like, when you read articles like these, it's looking like nuclear destruction is about to pop off real soon, because there's only so much that Iran can take. They're going to have to retaliate sooner or later. They're going to. So let me get, real quick, Revelation chapter 20, Revelation chapter 20, verse 3. Actually, I'll start 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. And that trickles on down to the people on earth, because there's a people that's set up on earth that work with Satan, man. All right, that old devil, which is you Edomites. All right, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. Yeah, so the Lord, he shut them down, after the pagan Roman Empire, he shut them down. Then he brought us into rulership, through the Byzantine Empire, and through the Dark Ages we were ruling. And this devil, he was put down. He wasn't in a rulership position. He was actually created to be as a subject, right? He was in slavery. He was being whipped. He wasn't in a high position. I'll just leave it at that. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. Yeah, and it says he must be loosed a little season, which I believe there's a scripture for that. The joy of the hypocrite is just for a moment. Matter of fact, let me get that. Because he must be loosed for a little season to deceive the earth. The joy of the hypocrite. Job 20:5. The triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Yeah, so that's why he was loosed for a season, man, because and a hypocrite, it really goes back to an actor. And an actor is putting on a false identity. They have a false persona of themselves. And when you act, you trick somebody into believing that you're really that person on screen. When you watch people act on a stage or on film. Right? So this guy, he was set up to triumph for a very short time. And his joy as being a hypocrite and a devil is only for a moment. Now it says here, I'm going to jump to verse 8 for the sake of time. No, verse 7, and it says, when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. And that's the Lord removing those chains off this devil so he can be let loose. Now, this is the time where he is ruling as a hypocrite, but for a short time. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. That's right. And that's done through his military, his media primarily. Right, because his media is used to brainwash the people into believing into the government and their military, so their military can go out and conquer these lands. So it says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, which means the entire earth, Gog and Magog, Russia, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Right, and there's going to be a time where I'm going to just say this, man, there's going to be a time where World War III is going to pop off. We're in the midst of it right now. But there's also going to be a time when all these other nations, they're going to get together and they're going to come up against Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. And that's going to be in the Valley of Decision, Yahweh Shaphat. Right? So all of this stuff is just leading to their downfall. All this dissension, all this propaganda that they're pushing, it's really leading to their own demise, and really it's going to usher in the kingdom of heaven. This has to happen. So anyway, with that, there's more I can go into, but I got to get going. I got to get to camp. So, until next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, devil honest to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well and that do teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Kwam Yasha'Allah and a bubble ball. And Shalom. Oh, yeah. And, I'm going to be uploading on GMS Honor the Most High #2. Because, my first channel again got striked. So now I can't do anything on it for a while until March. So I'm going to be posting on this channel. So with that, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Baba Ball, Shalom.